I'm looking to see the usual XD, not the XD, should I say FD? With some of those weird drafts with the choke. I'm not sure we'll say that every time, but to be honest, this is one of those maps where it could potentially come out.
Well, when this where we could see odd characters, it's while they're not
Alarak
quite...
again.
Yeah, well, we could, could see maybe if the banning and the choices don't go to it, could Valor appear like you said, do the AOE damage, sorry, the auto attack damage,
yeah.
Artanis, again, a great immortal racing capabilities. Not the quite highest tier characters, but potential for that sort of thing. Of course, we see the same culprits again in the banning phase. We do see maybe the priority on Hanzo increase a little bit because his race on this map is astoundingly dirty.
Yeah, I think it'll go up more than a little bit. I don't think we wait until the second half of the draft to see a Hanzo because, as you mentioned, his racing potential when it comes to the immortal, just the serrated arrows at 4, all of a sudden just makes him impossible to race against. He just shreds it down in just a couple shots, and there we go. Right off the bat, just nah, just not having that one.
Yeah, nah, mate, nah, no Hanzo this game, thanks.
Yeah, so, and as you mentioned, there are some different heroes that you can throw into this map. Like, as you mentioned, the Vala can work out with her damage to immortals. Probably not going to be able to see, not going to be seeing that one, but you never know. There has been,
it's crazy.
There was a bit of a resurgence of Valor play, especially over in the mid-season brawl, paired up with things like Tastai and the Oriole, the old school combo of yesteryear. But not sure if we'll see it here. There are other things like Li Ming, which can get a lot of value. It's similar to what the Hanzo does, but from a bit of a safer position, can just poke away at those immortals and makes it very hard to defend against.
Yeah, Li Ming's one of those weird ones. We talk, Li Ming's very much a heavy burst hero, and she really fills that assassin role greatly because of her resets for abilities. But because she does such high damage, it really works out that she can race against these immortals really well, and it offers a poke strategy for when the enemy team is heavily defending. Li Ming's like, you either let me hit you, or I hit the immortal. You take you have your choice.
Yeah, especially once we get into the later game, Mirror Ball at 16, all of a sudden you're throwing so many more of those arcane missiles. You do so much damage to either, as you mentioned, the immortal or whoever's trying to defend that immortal. It's really not feasible to play a defensive strategy. You need to go in onto that Li Ming. You need to force her away from the immortal and from her doing damage to it to try and counteract that play. But I'm not sure we'll see it as like one of those early picks, maybe towards the middle or the latter half of the draft.
It's I would say here in the ANZ region, we do have a preference for Li Ming, but I think if there's an opportunity to take a Li Ming, we will see it.
All right then.
XD, thank you. Thank you so much. I love Li Ming's one of my favorite characters, by the way. Just throwing it out there. I play a sorcerer in Diablo 3, so every time Li Ming is picked, I get a little bit excited.
Yeah, and I was saying I wasn't expecting it right off the top of the draft, but after everything we said, it does make sense. Because, as I said, it's racing potential and also just additional damage. It can follow up on any kind of crowd control, really. So a very strong pick for the map especially. And XD are going to have control of that one.
When you're old enough to be called Daddy Phoenix, you will be able to predict the Li Ming picks as well.
Unlucky for me. All right. So what do we have for Pleb2Pro? There are still a lot of the high priority things like Malfurion, Garrosh, which
you think Garrosh and Malfurion. You think Garrosh and Malfurion here just because of the immortals, the way that Garrosh can displace them.
Hello.
And Malfurion's
forgot about the Maiev.
Yeah, another high. These are the usual suspects for the early on picks. I really would have liked the Garrosh though. We've just seen so many potential plays with it.
Yeah, especially with how the hero pool has been playing out so far. I mean, in the previous game, I understood not going for the Garrosh because the Johanna was already picked on the other side. So you're not necessarily chomping at the bit to try and get that warrior for yourself. But right now, I mean, sure, the ETC was picked up, but there are so many things on the table to go for. And the Garrosh is one of those high priority ones and can work really well with a Maiev. I
wouldn't be surprised if we do see XD ban out Garrosh here. in their ban phase. I
Or
mean,
even
it's
like
just
a Johanna. I feel as though if it's either Pleb2Pro have got the thought of either Johanna or Garrosh, because both of them can work well with that. But it's actually
Yeah.
they're going to ban away the Blaze, so they actually don't want to take it for themselves. They might have a bit of an idea for what they want for their solo lane and want to be a little bit more reactive with it and not have to deal with that Blaze and all that he brings to a lineup: sustainability, durability, a bunker.
the bunker.
Yeah.
the highlight of this character. I know it's a lot of thought here. What XD want to ban out? I really would like to see him remove the Garrosh just because of how devastating he can be in the immortal phase, just displacing people. I mean, I don't think Johanna's a threat to ETC if it's a mosh pit play, but even doing something like stage dive, where you can get to their back line and pressure them when they are attacking your immortal through just all of a sudden great positioning and great power sliding.
To be honest, I think I'd prefer a ban on the Johanna because if you look at what XD have already, Johanna can walk through a lot of that. Garrosh can't. He can get locked down pretty handily, and with a locking arm under him, he can't really sustain himself. He's in a bit of a tough spot. So I would have probably liked a Johanna ban and just let them have the Garrosh and prey upon him. But it's still a very solid ban. I mean, Garrosh, he's not like top priority for nothing.
It's the decision, right? They're deciding who is more troublesome for them. Is it going to be something like Johanna, or it's going to be something like Garrosh? Was it between something else? It's it's would to be a fly on the wall of the voice comms right now about their decision making. But
and also like
Pleb2Pro, they've got to pick some tanks into this. So it looks like they are being opened up for a Johanna right now.
And also,
do they decide to go with that?
If he gets flung, if an NTC gets flung in, he can power slide his way out. Leeming, if she gets flung, sure, if there's the lockdown combo ready and the damage follow, she's probably going to die anyway. But theoretically she can teleport out, so they do have options to deal with that. But Johanna, like, she can kind of be very powerful. She has a lot of power, but can walk out a lot of it. But it's actually going to be the Muradin who's going to get picked up for the side of Pleb2Pro, and also the Phoenix. So they have a good amount of damage coming out of this lineup.
You can see what Pleb2Pro are doing here. They're looking for a real heavy engagement lockdown comp. Maiev and Muradin can both engage quite well into the enemy's lines. You can see Malfurion and Phoenix. Malfurion can lock them down, further lock down, and then Phoenix can follow up with the massive damage. Their last pick, looking at they still don't quite have a solo laner on the side of Pleb2Pro, and I think that ban from Blaze was so good earlier because it really opened it up to removing a strong solo laner with a strong heroic, opening the field, going, all right, XD, what are you going to take? We're going to respond to it with our last pick, who's also going to be.
I wouldn't mind seeing from XD. I mean, you pick up a solo laner, it's going to be actually the Thrall and the Alarak. So they do have. I was close. 50-50. So the Thrall will be very sustainable in that solo lane. Doesn't necessarily have the durability that something like a Sonya would, but will be very impactful once we get into the team fights. And the Alarak, we saw it in game 1. And especially on this map, where once you all start fighting around Immortals, it can be very impactful. The telekinesis into a lot of those Immortal stuns can just massively change team fights.
What do you think of that Zeratul pick? Because Zeratul's going to be the solo laner. He's going to have to sit in the top lane.
Honest, even physics on the Phoenix could sometimes go, Phoenix can sometimes go as that solo laner, but because it's firstly going on the Zeratul, more than likely going to be that. But the Phoenix can sometimes go into the solo lane just because he has the way his shielding works. You can just take some trades, step back, get your shield back, and then all of a sudden you've technically won a trade.
Yeah. But that was an interesting exchange from the last thing there. I like the Thrall and Alarak pick, because we do talk about, Thrall can solo lane well, or Alarak also is solo laneable. So it's kind of like hey, guess who we're going to take? And the Zeratul is kind of like almost a nice response to that in the solo lane aspect as well. But it's just an interesting thing there, like a bit of a mind games into mind games, because we still have no idea who's going to go into the top lane. I'm sure the guys out in the Twitch chat do, but I'm not sure who we're going to see as top lane supremacy.
Or we could even see something like a 2-3 split, or like a 1-1-3 where we have the Zeratul kind of hovering between the two and trying to impact both as much as possible.
All right, guys, so this is game number 3 between the series, Pleb2Pro versus Xylophone. As we get underway, Pleb2Pro is on core playing Maiev, Konya playing Muradin, Vikarak playing Malfurion, firstly on Zeratul, and
boy.
on Phoenix.
Oh, almost getting a lockdown onto Encore, but on the side of XD, we have Serali on the Thrall, Tommy is on the ETC, Sailor is on the Stukov, Flaze is on his Alarak, and Madhax is the Li Ming. And it was a bit of an interesting play, trying to get an early lockdown kill onto some of the top laners of Pleb2Pro, but just didn't land. And they are just going to be backing away to the bottom lane for the just kind of a standard 1-4 split.
Yeah, I guess they both had the same idea, right? So that's what really sort of saved it for either team's aspect going up there. So it is Zeratul and Thrall will be duking out in the top lane. I think that's a matchup that can actually work out pretty well for either side. Of course, Thrall does have the ranged lightning bolt, so it should work a bit better. From Maiev goes in on Encore. This is going to be a really good starting game if they can get a kill on the Thrall. Does manage to make it out. And on 2-lane maps like this is one of the, let's say, the larger 2-lane maps as well, GL. Getting a kill on someone in the top lane is really detrimental on Battlefield of Eternity.
Yeah, just that extra time not getting experience is pretty painful to deal with, but yeah, one thing about that matchup between the Zeratul and the Thrall, Zeratul doesn't necessarily have himself some self-sustain. Thrall does, so if you do go for those extended engagements, the Thrall will end up winning out in the end, but it's actually going to be Encore taking control of that solo lane for now, while the Zeratul does go back, but both siege cans were taken, Kazuha coming in for the blue side on the top, red side on the bottom as a great orb comes in, just taking a chunk out of Vikarak and physics.
Yeah, I'm still just looking at that. Sorry, I'm still looking at that top lane. Like there are two, Maiev and Zeratul are looking to get that Thrall. Looking for the pressure here, but Flaze comes in. Tommy as well. Ooh, power slide. Is it going to connect? No, they look for the kill there. Nice displacement. A little bit of wrong communication, but it doesn't matter. They will get the kills. They haven't lost the experience lead, but it is in an awkward situation right now for Pleb2Pro.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, we'll be able to stick around and just soak some of the experience passively, as Flaze is trying to get the lockdown, not able to land it. Firstly, being very aware of what's going on there. But throughout all of, they were able to pick up one of the towers, which is a nice chunk of experience. I just want to remind everyone that this is the tournament realm, so it is the Naxxamania patch where a lot of the experience is still in those early towers, and also some of the passive armor on heroes are still available. So there are quite a few changes between what we're playing on now and the live patch, and it's always a bit interesting to try and keep in mind how some of those changes are going to affect things.
Yeah, like why are some characters surviving more than I feel they should. Oh, nice big play here. Getting pulled in there. Maiev doing a good job, but it's just summoned the XD to their lines. They do get the kill on Alarak. Not going to be good for his status. And however, they are following up. Tommy looking at putting pressure on the Konya. So they get a follow up here. No physics on the back line right now.
Oh, wow. Here we go.
Trade. Good kill there on the Malfurion. We do see Pleb2Pro now backing out. They've got no support in their ranks. Tommy just evading the Immortal. And they still following up. They're still looking. They still believe that they can connect him onto our Konya. Oh no! Phoenix, however, looking in trouble there. Physics looking bad. Konya's dived out of the way. Target switching on the side of XD is on like a hair trigger right now. They're just responding so well to the placement of Pleb2Pro.
Yeah, and with that fight, eventually going over to the side of XD, they're able to take most of that immortal health. So it's down to half. And yeah, it looks like this will go over to the side of XD. There's not really anyone in position for the side of Pleb2Pro to try and make a contestant. They're starting to make their way in, but a lot of the damage has already gone down onto it. I'm not sure how this is going to work out. A good silence goes down on the Maiev.
Oh, they're looking for a nice big defensive play here. Good positioning there. They're going to get the stun on the root on the Flaze. He's still alive. Alarak was able to back out. He's going to die here. Encore in trouble. They do connect to Alarak. It is an unfair fight right now. Pleb2Pro have the advantage. Li Ming did go for firstly just to manage to get out of there. But Zeratul is effectively out of the fight for the time being. Konya would fall for this. Equal on terms. Alarak, 5 seconds, can bite into this fight right now and be very effective. And Pleb2Pro just have to back out and just get damage onto the Immortal now. I want to see if XD... Oh, they got a kill onto Maiev. Nicely done there, right at the turning of the Immortal phase. So, sorry, at the end of the phase. So now Maev's going to be out of the count and really late to defend whatever offensive capability or option we see come out of XD.
Yeah, Sailor just threw in a puzzle into a bush, managed to catch out a recalling Maev, and they were able to finish her off before she could get anywhere out of there. So really great pickup, and as you mentioned, this is going to be a little bit of extra pressure coming in on this top side of the map. This Immortal has half HP, and they're not really in position to try and defend it. It's a great lockdown to Phoenix.
It's the leader!
Oh, never mind!
I want to play here!
The return kills are coming in for the side of Pleb2Pro that has stepped in. Konya and Konya firstly and Encore just walked in, just started throwing blades everywhere, and everyone just died on the side of XD.
The collapse, like they all sort of like collapsed onto Phoenix or got, you know, it went in for the kill. And yeah, like you said, Maev just walked in there. Encore, it's like, well, I guess I'll just keep throwing my knives out and almost getting like instant resets for more damage. That was a huge play.
Amazing.
Wow.
And like Konya just jumped in, managed to get the ground slam, just managed to slow down everyone, and then there was firstly coming in with the blade, just the cleave of the Zeratul did a decent amount of damage, and then as you mentioned, the Maev just fenonized because it keeps on resetting once you hit multiple people with it. And that was just everyone down immediately. So good turnaround fight, and they do maintain a little bit of an experience lead.
I don't even know. I'd say like I want to say it was like a bit of a funny moment, but I don't think anyone had time to really you know, figure out what just happened. Like, what? Where are all our heroes? Bottom lane there, Encore looking for an Encore kill now. They're onto our plays. We'll take out Alarak. Not the strongest of heroes, quite you know, quite frail in that sense. Another kill there, level 10, fast approaching for Pleb2Pro, and this is going to be devastating if they get to the next Immortal phase. And XD haven't managed to catch up in experience. Yeah,
they need to try and get to level 10, but in a safe manner. And this is just going to allow Pleb2Pro to play aggressive, get into this, onto the side of XD, grab this Shaman camp, which is going to be a big power swing. And level 10 is on the horizon for XD, but they're just not there yet, and they have to be careful stepping in here.
Yeah, they just can't challenge it. You know, if they die now, it's a free Immortal side of Pleb2Pro, and they will be able to push quite devastatingly with it. Plus with their, you know, extra levels as well from the fight. Nice cleanup of the camp here. 10 is still shy from XD. They will be able to pick it up, but it means there will be one member down in this mid scrimmage that's about to happen.
Yeah, and Encore on the flank is able to does get found out by the Li Ming. I don't think the Li Ming was aware that Maev was there. Oh, here comes a great lockdown. Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a nice kill there on Zeratul. Puts in the favor right now on the side of XD. They are chasing Konya. Konya's already used the leap. The mobility will be down for a longer time there. Does take him through their own Immortal, helping him. But again, he's still getting pressured. The jump's been reactivated, cooldown refreshed. And they can just regroup now behind this. XD can get back onto the Immortal. XD are having such good Immortal phases, GL. It's just always going in their favor, it seems.
Yeah, the extra lockdown that they have in their lineup, just combined with the Immortal stuns, is just very good control of area. And yeah, with someone like a Zeratul, who, if you silence them, they're not going to be doing a hell of a lot. We spoke about it in the first game, just things like a Genji, if you're able to get the silence onto them, they're not really going to be moving too far. But now we have two silencers on the side of XD. They can't really get out of that. It's a great Void Prison goes down.
Yeah, it's a nice Void Prison on the Encore on the back line. Has found Phase, Konya, and finishes follow up as well. So a lot of damage has protected. But Phase managed to get out there. He is connected by Phoenix, but it will survive anyway. Mad Hack seen there, putting a lot of damage onto the Immortal. Well, Sarah Lee looks for a kill onto Zeratul. Silence, but that won't stop Thrall. It does, unfortunately, actually, as Encore gets the lockdown with Maeve. Plays following up there, looking for more damage. Are not able to really connect. XD apparently looks like they're overextending. Nice mosh pit, but there's just not enough damage on the board to get out. Do they connect? They do trade. They get a kill onto Physics, but behind that, Plays still in a bad situation. Konya leaps over. They're looking for the kill on Alarak. He's used his level 10. He is going to stay alive, but Konya again overextending, looking for the Alarak. Cannot find the kill, however, and it's played right into XD's hands as the Immortal is now pushing into the bottom lane fortification.
That's one thing about Alarak that he does very well, is if you are just having those trailing fights towards an end of a big fight, if you just try and chase him down, he can just turn around and just Discord strike in a straight line, hit so many people, and just turn those chases on its head. But the Immortal, throughout all of that, the Immortal does get picked up for the side of XD, and they're going to be able to push down this fort, and they are starting to claw a bit of a lead for themselves.
A significant lead as well. If they can hit 13, which they should be able to if they can take out this top fortification, they're going to be that coveted talent tier advantage. And 13 starts to open up a lot of options for characters, particularly on the west side like Li Ming and Kroll, where they have to start to do, it starts to do more damage. That opens up Li Ming to the Illusionist, so she can get better positioning from her teleport to do calamity-based damage from the level 7 talent. So it really starts to open up the game for him.
Pleb2Pro one of the biggest things about level 13 for this lineup is the virulent reaction for the Stukov. It's actually not going to go for it. It's gone for the low blow, interestingly enough. I was expecting the virulent reaction because the actual lockdown you have on that hero once you hit that talent tier is incredible. And we're just talking about how big those locking arms can be. They're just not... The extra lockdown with the virulent reaction is wonderful, but they're not going to be having that. They want the extra damage, and firstly, just narrowly avoiding flares.
Yeah, they should have been able to walk behind the wall, but the teleport's a nicer way to do it. The blink, we see XD moving out there. Konya does have to look to see where they are positioned in case Pleb2Pro could have followed up and punished their cheeky little stab into the wall. But it's really just become a bit of a neutral game right now. Both teams looking to clean their lanes and try and regain pressure on the map. But the positioning right now, it looks like Pleb2Pro are actually doing a bit of a seek and destroy mission, looking to see where our XD is. Nice scouting by Tommy there. They can decide if the Merc camp is that important to risk their lives for, and they want it, but they're trying to not overcommit to it.
Yeah, this is exactly the kind of play that they ended up losing to on Tuesday. They were wanting to go for a camp. They didn't necessarily expect an invade to come out from their opponents. Got caught out, got wiped, lost the camp, and then things snowballed out from there. So very much not wanting to have a repeat of that in this game. Let's play a little bit safer. They do secure the camp for themselves, and now both teams are just racing down these Immortals.
Ooh, and it's going to be a pretty tight race as well if they choose to do this. Who's going to buckle first?
Oh, here we go.
Both teams defending. There are mercs in the top lane, so XD could actually gain an advantage from a heavy defensive play right now and really draw it out. Pleb2Pro will have to respond to that, and if they send the entire team, their Immortal will fall. If they send one member, it's an option for XD to get in there and really take someone out. But Connie's in, going in deep there, pressuring the back line. Nice Void Prison! Locks down. What was that? 2 members on the side of XD. An opportunity for Pleb2Pro to make a play. Doesn't quite get it. They did lock down. The great Sundering comes out from early, helping the teammates. Tommy in the back line, causing pressure. Nice mosh pit. They get the kill on Murden. There is no front line right now for Pleb2Pro. They need the back out. Phoenix in trouble. Phoenix, must be familiar territory for that character. Dying again to the onslaught of the enemy team. And that the XD. Wow, they are bringing it to this game, GL.
Yeah, and one thing I think we're starting to see out of the potential Void Prison combos is that, yes, you do have some good follow-up lockdown with the roots and also the damage coming out from this lineup, but it's also the perfect follow-up for a Stukov with a lurking arm. So once you come out of that, you're just walking into your own silence or an enemy silence field for free.
It's like, I know your positioning now. It's really like, Pleb2Pro, or even with all the Void Prisons we've seen tonight in Game 2 as well, they've been missing that key character in the form of a mage like Jaina or someone that can put down a lot of damage as the thing comes out. We haven't really seen a lot of that in any of these games. But right now, XD is pressuring the front line. They are knocking it down. Knock, knock. Are you home, Pleb2Pro? XD has come to call.
Yeah, and they're probably just going to have to give up this keep. They can try and make a fight happen behind this Immortal, but it's very hard for them. Oh, they get a bit of a lockdown, but they're not able to follow up on that. But they are probably going to be able to hold on to their core, but they have to make the fight happen. But they lose one immediately.
Oh, that's not good. It's a 4-man defense against effectively a 6 squad right now with the Immortal actually as a 6-man. Beautiful Void Prison, but again, it's only going to allow them to clean up the Immortal. It will not fall, actually, so XD can come out from this. They can start pressuring again. They can just probably dive the core, looking for a fight. Murd and Konya has popped his avatar. It's not going to be enough.
Yeah, that's it, actually.
Great Twilight Dream, but that was all she wrote. It was Sweet Dream for Pleb2Pro and GL. The sweep, the reverse sweep, was done by XD.
Yeah, they were able to bring it back. It was a bit rough that first game, but the second game, they were able to get things back in order, and this game 3 just looks so incredibly dominant. They were able to control fights from essentially start to finish and really make it just kind of shut me up a little bit, because I've been talking about how they've been kind of iffy once we get to the mid to late game, but they did so well in controlling games 2 and 3 and really took it to Pleb2Pro.
Yeah, wow, it was such a exciting game. It's like every Immortal phase, XD just won it. They pushed Pleb2Pro to like this weird you have to respond. Like they made them respond. It's a terrible situation when you are the one having to react to someone else's decisions, and that's what they did. XD, come fight us at our Immortal. We've got Mercs in the top lane. You got to make a decision. You have to come fight us. Maiev going in. There was that great explosion at the start of the game where Maiev got basically all those kills, but it didn't mean anything at the end of the day, because XD was like, oh well, it was only a little bit of a mishap.
Just reset, yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, and it's essentially when you're controlling the pace of the game, especially with the kind of lineup that both of these teams had, you wanted to be proactive with things like a Maiev and a Zeratul. Trying to be reactive with those heroes, you're going to be walking into brick walls, and when that brick wall has a big silence field, not one, but two, it's a bit rough to deal with.
Oh, it's a bit savage, that's what I'm gonna say. Those games were, every time I saw a Void Prison went down, I was so excited to see what the follow-up was. And it's like the Void Prisons were like secret sleeper agents, and they were just always working in favor of the enemy team. It was sort of funny to watch, but like you said, it's because of the Stukov and the Lurking Arm being able to go, well, I kind of know roughly where you're going to try and engage from, so I can drop it there to prevent a big follow-up. Such a good play. So guys, that was Pleb2Pro up against XD. Beautiful game there. 1-2 going in favor of XD. Great reverse sweep. Great game. We're setting up for the next match, and it is